we only have so much bandwidth and we're spending all of our time. There's a problem that I've coined for myself, the mad dash from clicks to cash. Everybody is trying to spend 90% of their time to go as fast as possible from a cold click to a high ticket offer. And so they're spending all their time trying to master the art of that front end opportunity instead of recognizing what is the ideal solution and journey and experience for the person who has that problem. And because we have so many, we're trying to build a program, we're trying to build offers and solutions and all kinds of things that we do. So we barely have any time to focus on this process. So it usually gets what's left over.
You see, there's this common misbelief that we need to hire rock star salespeople. And today's guest is going to shatter that myth for us and tell us why a great process is better than great salespeople. I want to welcome to today's show, Jim Padilla. He is an impact strategist. He has been seen on all sorts of public networks. He is well known in his space for helping companies build and sustain great sales systems. Hey, Jim, thank you for being here today.
Hey, awesome. I'm so glad to be here. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So tell me, you are sales expert. Like, this is what you do. Salespeople, sales systems, you know all of that. And I know that a lot of people listening right now are scared to death to hire salespeople, manage salespeople, build sales teams, all of that. So what's the biggest myth about hiring salespeople or building a sales team that you want to shatter for our listeners right now?
Though there's a few, but the at the top of the list is that you don't need sales rock stars to put in place. Matter of fact, if you require a sales rock star to sell your goods, your sales system's broken.
Okay, elaborate. You got me curious now.
It's interesting because most people are, if you're the founder, you're doing most of the sales, or you're looking for that elusive quote unquote closer, right? That high ticket closer. The problem is most salespeople are good at actually selling, but not necessarily creating a system. If you have a system in place that they can follow, then they are much better than they actually are. And you as the founder, you know everything about your product inside your head. You know the off menu stuff, you know what's good and what's bad and what doesn't work and what does. And your salesperson doesn't know all that stuff. They don't have the history that you do. So you put them on a call with somebody, they're never going to deliver the same level of insight structure that you can. And if you don't have a system to replicate what's in your brain, then you're never going to have success at a high level.
Well, I don't know how I can avoid not taking the bait on that one. What is this system? Like, how do we get this stuff out of my brain? How do we build a system? What can we do to support these non-rock star salespeople, these not closers that we eventually can work with?
We call it a scalable sales system. It's really not super rocket science in that, but it's the anti-closer system. And the whole objective is that if you have a great offer, a great prospect journey that's well curated for your ideal avatar, a bleeding neck problem to solve, a core story, and knowing clearly what's at stake, then a salesperson who knows all of those things doesn't have to be a guru and a wizard to be able to convert people. Then you just wrap them in the system that puts all of this in place. And now you can actually have an average salesperson who's just an above average human who can follow a great system and consistently and predictably overachieve. That's the game that we play.
It's interesting. Sounds similar to something I say. I say I'd rather have a good person manage a great system or run a great system than have a great person in an okay or a good system. Like, the system is more important than the quality of the employee. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, very much so. Because the system is what's going to make the person. And too many times you can go get somebody who's a top tier rock star, and then you put them in an environment where there's not a great system, not a great offer, not a great prospect journey, and they don't have all those pieces. And all of a sudden that great rock star becomes very average. And the opposite also happens. So yes, I opt for good humans, good system, great process, and great results.
I love that. Good human, great system. Yes. I love it. So if you don't mind, let's break down those couple of stages a little bit, not too deep, because that's why I want people to reach out to you later, but just give me kind of the 5,000 foot view of each of those things you were talking about.
Yeah, well, and the anti-closer system that you want to put in place, it really all starts with the offer. If your offer is not clear and compelling, then people aren't going to buy it. You have to spend your time convincing them or influencing them. And I understand because I have been an influence machine much of my career. And there were many times where the only reason people bought is because I had incredible influence, but that's because my offer sucked and because I wasn't talking to the ideal person. So you need to have an offer that solves a specific problem, not all their problems. Have a very clear offer solution that is packaged in a very compelling manner so that people have to take advantage of it. And most of you have a great solution of some kind. It's just packaged poorly, so people don't understand why they need it. So don't get busy selling your product. Get busy delivering a solution and experience that solves the problem that they have. Sometimes that may be the same thing, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah. Okay. So offer is clear and compelling.
Correct.
Solves a specific problem. What else?
Then you want to make sure that it's solving for a specific person. So we don't need to dive into avatar because there's a billion ways to approach an avatar exercise.
Sure.
But the key is who's the person who is absolutely experiencing the pain from the bleeding neck problem that your solution solves. And a bleeding neck problem, let's be really clear about this. When I'm 50, I just turned 54. And my wife told me the other day that she pulled something in her leg while we were sleeping. And I'm like, damn, we're just getting old, right? This crazy stuff happens. When's the last time you woke up in the morning and your neck was sore, stiff, cranky? Right? It happens. But did you run to the emergency room? Say, my neck's sore. No. You don't do that. You just deal with it, right? You put some oils on it, you stretch, you roll out, you do whatever. But if you wake up in the morning and you've popped a vein and you got a gusher coming out of your neck, I'm pretty sure there is nothing going to keep you from getting to the emergency room or calling 911. Yeah. Because you know you have a very clear problem and an immediate need to solve it. Everybody who sells something has a bleeding neck version of the problem, but usually you're spending too much time attracting the person who's just got a sore neck. And then you're trying to convince them that they need to do something about it instead of getting laser focused on the person who's actually got a bleeding neck problem. Because then you don't have to convince them. Now you're doing part of the work for your sales team.
I love that distinction between the sore neck versus the bleeding neck. And I imagine that a lot of that comes from a mindset of scarcity. Like if I just focus on the few people that are running to the emergency room, look at all the people that aren't going to be able to buy from me.
Right.
And it's that mindset of scarcity that drives them towards that. No, I need to be the small fish in the big pond as I compete and I have to convince and all of that other stuff.
And instead of understanding that when you can speak to the person who's got the bleeding neck problem, like for us, our bleeding neck problem is qualified booked appointments. At the end of the day, if you have an adequate number of qualified booked appointments, you're going to make all the sales that you need. So everything we do is in service to that. And so we recruit sales team, we build sales team. It's to make sure that they know how to attract and convert qualified booked appointments. And then we build a system that's going to deliver optimized qualified booked appointments, et cetera. So we're always speaking to how many people do you have to serve your qualified booked appointments? Do you have enough qualified booked appointments, et cetera? Everything else is a byproduct of that. And you have to figure out for you, what is the thing that they have that with the absence of it is their bleeding neck problem. It just takes some time to think about it and focus and dive in and just asking those questions because your bleeding neck problem is going to be unique and different, but you should know it as the expert of the problem.
Got it. All right. So we've offered the clear and compelling offer. We've targeted that specific person with a specific problem, the problem being a bleeding neck problem, not just the kink in the neck. Now what?
Now, when you have a targeted avatar with a clear bleeding neck problem, it should make the journey, we'll call it, to the hospital very easy and clear. Instead of you trying to figure out what should I put in my funnel, well, everything you put in your funnel should speak to them and let them know they're in the right place. Yes, this makes sense because I've got a bleeding neck. That makes perfect sense that you would put this in front of me right now. That would make total sense that you invite me to this webinar because this webinar is going to solve my bleeding neck problem, right? So everything you do should never be a surprise. All of your communication, which we call the prospect journey, should be clear because here's what's happening. They're on a road. You're on a highway all day long and you get on the off ramp. You take the off-ramp that said, hey, come over here. I've got the solution for you. And every time they come down this path and down this road, they're going, yeah, this makes sense. This is the right place. Too many times, that's not the case. They don't know why they're on this road. They don't know why they're on this path. So therefore, they don't open the emails. They don't click on the things because they're not even sure what they're supposed to do. It's really simple. We overcomplicate it because we try to be professional marketers. and none of us are.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So journey is easy and clear. Is there anything else?
That's the key to a prospect journey, in that you're leading people consistently one step at a time. The term I like to use is affirming. You want to affirm the decision they made to get off the freeway in the first place. They go, yeah, okay, yes, this was smart. I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I'm in the right place. And then the goal is you're leading them to an intersection of problem and solution, pain and solution. So you're talking them through so that what your whole journey on the prospect journey is to help them see clearly that they've got a problem and that this problem must be solved. If they don't have a desire and what we call consensus to solve the problem, there's nothing for you to sell them. So don't show up selling your product. Make sure you lead them to a place of understanding. I have to get rid of this problem, and you seem to be the person who's got a solution. How can you help me? And then voila, I have a webinar. Well, voila, I have a workshop. I have a whatever is that next step for you.
Wow. So they show up, this salesperson is showing there and like, I don't have to close. Like the process got you all primed and ready. All we got to do is have a quick conversation.
Correct.
Is that fair?
That's ideally when this is working as it should. Then the salesperson is literally just diagnosing the bleeding neck and then diagnosing their sanity of how long do they want to keep enduring this bleeding neck, or what options would they like. Right. So instead of trying to convince them that they should do something about it.
Wow. So why do you think so many of us get this wrong?
Well, in fairness, most people just don't know what they don't know. And
hey, that's fair.
I like to try to give the generous observation, but we don't know what we don't know. And then the second part is we only have so much bandwidth, and we're spending all of our time. There's a problem that I've coined for myself, the mad dash from clicks to cash. Everybody is trying to spend 90% of their time to go as fast as possible from a cold click to a high ticket offer. And so they're spending all their time trying to master the art of that front end opportunity instead of recognizing what is the ideal solution and journey and experience for the person who has that problem. And because we have so many, we're trying to build a program, we're trying to build offers and solutions and all kinds of things that we do. So we barely have any time to focus on this process. So it usually gets what's left over. And I don't understand it, because without sales, you don't have revenue, but most people tend to throw whatever focus and energy that they have left over towards the sales process. And then you accompany that with, quite honestly, most people want to underpay. They want to pay the cheapest amount of solution possible. I'm just going to pay this guy. I can get somebody for way cheaper than you. Great. But you're going to spend 6 months or a year trying to optimize it. And you're going to have high turnover. It's going to cost you 6 figures in losses and pain and damages just trying to figure out how to get this person going instead of investing in quality systems, solutions, and strategies in the first place.
Wow. I'm thinking just a lot of the people that maybe listen to this, a lot of my network is entrepreneurs in the home service space, commercial service space, construction, business to business services, professional services, those kinds of things. And I'm listening to what you're saying. I know you work with a lot of coaches and consultants, but it's almost like the dots are connecting perfectly. It's like everybody could be doing this process here to make your offer clear and compelling. Because I hear people say all the time, when someone calls because they have a clogged toilet, the clogged toilet's not the reason they're calling you. Like there's something else that they want that the clogged toilet's getting in the way of. Right?
Exactly. 100%. I mean, the easiest scenario, the example is always the one that's used often is, do you go to Home Depot to
stop turning away work, burning out your team, and working so hard? Learn about the proven process that businesses everywhere are using to save time, save money, and hire all the people they need. We'll train your team to implement and run this process in-house so you can grow as fast as you want. Book a call with our team at corematters.com.
buy a drill because you need a drill. And often it's because I need a hole. And actually, it's not because you need a hole. It's because you want to hang a picture, or because you want to insert a doorknob, or because you want to do something. So it's the more clear you can help your buyers understand, I need this because of the experience it's going to give me or what it's going to provide for me. Your job is to connect the dots from the pain that they have of not having that experience and how you help deliver that experience.
I love wrapping up with one or two things that people can go do and they can get some results and they go, wow, this actually might work, and kind of opens their mind to, I guess there maybe are things I didn't know, or there is a different way to do it. Like, what are some of the quick hit things or some of the principles that you want our listeners to know about so that they can take this back to the office, go back to their team and say, hey, we're going to do this because Jim said it'll work. And I want to see if it'll work.
I'll tell you, some of this stuff is really simple. Number one, I have a resource that I just thought of that I'm happy to throw in for you. It's called 10 Moves to Make More Sales Without Getting Better at Selling. And it is literally, you can spend all of your time trying to master becoming a great salesperson, or you can create an environment where sales happen more consistently. And so I'm going to give that to you. So make sure that I'll send that to you as a resource. The 10
We'll have
moves
that in the show notes for sure.
Piece of cake. But here's the key. It's based on this premise. I never wanted to become great at sales. I just wanted to have sales. And so I started doing the things that could help me make sales without me having to be a sales rock star. And to this day, I won't say I'm a sales rock star. We've done hundreds of thousands of conversations in our company. So I've learned a lot of it, but I'm not a sales guru. And so I don't even pretend to play one on TV. When I talk to people, I tell them, I'm just here to help you find a solution. And here's something I want everybody to listen to. I don't care where you rank yourself in the sales process. Give yourself permission to not be a sales expert and say this, write this down. Please don't confuse the fact that because I'm not world-class at selling this, that I'm not world-class at solving your problem. Right? Or you can do the opposite and say, I'm world-class at solving your problem. I'm just not world-class at selling it. So forgive me if I stumble here. What do you think the person on the other end of the phone or the other person you're talking to, how do you think they're going to respond?
I think they're going to be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like takes all the pressure off. They want to support you. They want to help.
100% of the time. They go, oh, hey, don't worry about it. You'll find they are rooting for you. They're like, oh, you're doing great, man. You're doing great. Don't worry about it. But what you've told them is I'm not here for your money. I'm here to solve your problem. And take the pressure off of you and off of them and start having a dialogue together. That's something you can implement immediately right now, no matter what role you play, whether you're the founder, whether you're a salesperson. I'm just a problem solver. I'm an advisor.
I love it. That is fantastic.
Right? An ally. Okay. So that's the first piece. And then the second one is just make sure that everybody on your team understands the core story and what is at stake for your ideal buyer. So if they don't buy your thing, what is the problem and the pain they're going to be left with? And what is that going to prevent them from actually doing? And if everybody in your company who is client facing can engage that conversation, you're going to help people be compelled to want to do more about solving their problem. And it won't feel like they're being sold anything. They're being challenged to do something about their problem.
That is great. Those are two great things. Being able to, I'm going to say this, you didn't say this, but really just humble yourself and say, hey, I'm not here for a commission check. I'm here to help you. And that's really what we're saying. And then just make sure that they know what's at stake if they move on or they don't go with your recommended solution. You don't have to hard close them. You don't have to push it. Just, hey, here's what's at stake if you walk out that door and we don't ever talk again.
Yes.
Are you okay with that?
Eyes wide open.
I love it. I love it. So we got a few minutes left. So I want to talk, this is the talent tackle box. And so I do want to talk about people. We started with saying you don't need sales rock stars. And the reason you don't is because when you have a great system, you can put good humans into a great system and they can excel or even be perceived as rock stars.
Yes.
So there's a lot of apprehension, a lot of concern about hiring salespeople, especially if I'm not good at sales. Like I can't hire someone to do something I don't know how to do. And what you've just outlined here is you don't have to worry about the sales process if you've got a great system, if you've got a great journey, if you really understand your customer and the problem you solve and the solution that you have and all of that. So when it comes to building a sales team or hiring salespeople, what advice do you have for us?
Understand this, the sales skill is the least important part and the easiest trainable part. Recruit for values and alignment match. You want people who are values match for your company. You want people who totally buy into your mission and your vision, because that's the first part of them really being able to show up as an advocate for your company, understanding the kind of solutions your company brings to your potential buyers, because that stuff can't be faked. Right. So make sure you do that, because then the scale, the X's and O's of the sales process, if you have the right offer, you have the right prospect journey, you have the right pain points dialed in, and you have core story, everything dialed in, You just have a great person who can literally show up and make sure that that happens. And that person is willing to do the extra work, to train, to get better, to audit, to review their calls. This isn't somebody you have to chase. This is somebody who's sold out to serving your mission. It makes life so much easier. I'm not saying don't recruit for somebody who can actually sell. You're going to find plenty of them out there. You just need people who, there's no such thing as the absolute environment that somebody will crush it in every time. Everybody performs differently in different circumstances. So your job is to create the circumstances for the ideal person to be able to perform powerfully.
That is great. And just so you know, I did not pay Jim to say that, even though he just echoed what I say. When you're looking for good people, hire for values alignment first. Hire for people that are aligned to your vision, people that get out of bed to do what you do because their why is the same as yours. And because they can't teach that stuff. You can't teach that. You made it sound so simple to teach people sales stuff, but I think that if they want it enough, they'll learn that stuff.
Absolutely. You totally, whether they're employee or a contractor, when you're getting the right person, I've always been the guy. Even back in 1989, I had boxed of tapes. I had Sandler System tapes. I had Conant Nightingale tapes. The person you're looking for has a quote unquote trunk full of tapes already. So you don't have to tell them to get better. It's already part of their DNA.
One of the things that I hear people say when they're interviewing salespeople is, well, they know how to sell. And so they're selling themselves during the interview. So it makes me go, ooh, this is the one. This is the one. And then I hire them. And then, oh my gosh, yeah, I need a new headset, boss, because the headset's staticky. And, oh, I need a better CRM, or these leads suck, or all the excuses, right? So how do you avoid that when you're hiring someone new?
I'm a big proponent of putting people through the process that replicates the job that they're going to do. And as a salesperson, they have to sell their way through our funnel. Our salespeople go through a page where it's like, first they go through a video that walks them through our values. Then we go through some that walks them through the day in the life, the kind of work they're going to do, which weeds out people right from the default. Then they jump onto a calendar and have conversations with our leadership teams. And from the moment they get on the call, we are throwing objections at them. We are throwing challenges on. We are not here to make this warm and fuzzy. We want them to have to sell their way through a sequence. Then we put them on a role play call. And everything we're doing is not designed for them to win. It's designed to reveal who they are. Because if they can't perform there, they're not going to perform in the sales environment. And get somebody else who is not you. If you're the founder, you can be the final say, or you can be the first say, but you can't be the only say. Somebody else has to be able to put through. We do recruiting funnels. And so we take people through and we'll determine, can this person actually sell? Can they do the job? Are they any good at this? Because like you said, they're going to tell you everything you want to hear. Yeah. They're going to be like, oh, you're amazing. I love your company. I love what you do. And then when you tell them, you sound like everybody else, I'm not quite sure this is a good fit for you. If they go, okay, well, you're right. They're done. That's an objection, and they just failed. The person you're looking for is going, well, tell me more about what it is you're looking for. And they're going to qualify the objection, or they're going to tell you off, right? I'd rather at least have the person tell me off than just wither away.
Yeah.
Right. So we put things in place that are going to challenge them consistently. And sometimes we're too close to it as the founder or as the leader to be able to make that judgment.
So you almost push them away. You put up the wall, you put up the objection, you see how they overcome it. They qualify it. Do they talk you through it? Whatever that is. Or do they just go, yeah, you're right. I'm not that good. I'm an imposter.
Yeah. And you know what? It's heartbreaking how many guys will do that. They'll just go, oh, well, you must know. I'm like, oh, come on, man. I had faith in you.
Wow. Wow. This has been great. I love it. There's so much here to learn. There's so much to unpack. For those people listening to us right now going, hey, you know what? This Jim guy's got it figured out when it comes to salespeople and the sales process. How do people get a hold of you? And how do they learn more? Like, what resources do you have available?
Best place to go right now is go to JimP360. That's my personal website, JIMP360.com. And as soon as you do, there's a contact button on that page. Hit the contact button, send me a text. Tell me you heard me here on the Talent Tackle box and say anti-closer. Give me your name and anti-closer, and I will send you a walkthrough process to set up your anti-closer sales system so you start getting the framework of that put in place. And then I just love to know what's going on. What are your biggest sales challenges? And we have plenty of resources that we can send you, or I can introduce you to the right people. But my objective is that everybody is making sales every day. When that's happening, entrepreneurs are winning. When entrepreneurs are winning, the world is a better place. So that's what we're here for. We want to make that work.
I love that. Thank you so much, Jim. This has been great. I got a whole page of notes here. I'm not kidding. A whole page of notes, process, people, how to recruit. Such a packed show. Thank you so much for being here today.
Awesome. Thanks for trusting me to be part of the success team. Look forward to more.